Welcome to Chronologic Comics. All art, characters, images, and ideas are all owned by their respective companies. I'm just here to help break down the confusing landscape of comic books and feed it back to you in the video format. That's all. Starting our story off in a prison, we have some criminal talking to Carl Lucas, his new cellmate to be exact, explaining he's the master making the best Pruno this side of Alcatraz, and in a couple of days, he and Lucas are going to be really drunk. But as we can all see, Lucas is less than interested, taking his new cellmate, drowning him in his first-class prison wine. And why? Well, just because he's mad. Lucas doesn't really care about anything anymore. And as the guards beat him into submission, taking Lucas to the hole, some of them think this guy has to be the biggest dumbass they've ever seen. Either way, after 5 days, Lucas isn't even close to being okay, alone with his thoughts thinking about why he's really here in the first place. And don't get me wrong, Lucas isn't a saint, but he's the real-life Andy Dufresne. You know, the guy from Shawshank Redemption? That really good movie? You know, the guy with Morgan Freeman, charged with a crime that he didn't commit? Okay, guess you guys are too young for that. But then again, back in the day, no one could beat Lucas or Stryker. With Stryker's slash skill and Lucas's punch combo, they were unstoppable. But as Lucas matured, he created bonds with real people, saw what the streets were like from the other side, and stopped being a thug before he got a shallow grave. But Stryker, man, he wanted deeper and deeper into the game. But Lucas and Stryker were still friends through thick and thin. Lucas even set Stryker up with Reva Connors, a real dime of a woman, you know, someone you want to take home to mom. But this isn't Shawshank, this is Seagate Prison, or Little Alcatraz to the guards, or Hell to the prisoners. Especially with Ranchman around, aka the prison guard with the really bad handlebar mustache straight out of an 80s porno. But Lucas has had enough, taking Ranchman down a few pegs, and in the end, the warden looked in Lucas's favor for once, his first bit of luck in this hellhole. And after that, Ranchman laid off for the time being, only threatening Lucas. Until one day in the box, Ranchman brings Lucas's mail, reading a real heartfelt, swelling letter about how Reva Connors was killed in a drive-by shooting meant for Willis Stryker. The one thing he had left on the outside, and now it's been taken from him. And a week later, once Lucas is out of the box, he's cuffed in his lonely cell, when a doctor walks in reading Lucas' rap sheet. 15 years for drug trafficking, 2 more years for aggression against the CEO, and another year racked up to 18 for attempted murder on a cellmate. But Lucas isn't interested in what this cracker-ass honky has to say. So the doctor explains his name is Bernstein, and if Lucas is a gambling man, he may be able to get him a ticket out of here. But it's gonna take a really risky experiment. But at this point, since Lucas has nothing to live for, it's better than this place. So Ranchman takes Lucas to a very less active part of the prison, where the doctor's lab setup is. But all Lucas sees is a bathtub from the future, or in more scientific terms, it's an electro-biochemical system for re-stimulating damaged tissue and cell regeneration. But Lucas just jumps into the machine as Dr. Bernstein starts to turn on the machine and calibrate it, when he has to go to the other room to turn on the sensory unit. And as Lucas thinks he's all alone sitting in a glowing bathtub, Ranchman comes by, but Lucas doesn't understand what's he doing here. And put simply, he caught Lucas trying to escape, so now he's gonna stop him messing with all the doctor's knobs, turning a bunch of dials, making Lucas scream in agony whatever he did to the machine. But as Ranchman laughs, he's never gonna let Lucas leave. It's way too much fun messing with him. When the Ed 2099,000 Ultrajet bathtub explodes with Lucas inside, and as he emerges perfectly fine, he grabs Ranchman by the shirt, lifting him into the air. And as Dr. Bernstein returns, completely confused, and Lucas tells him the truth, explaining Ranchman tried to boil him like a lobster. And now Lucas is fed up with Ranchman, getting ready to curb stomp this cracker. When Bernstein stops Lucas, he isn't a killer, but Seagate SWAT team's already responding to the explosion, seeing Lucas out of his restraints, when all 5 men unload their clips on Lucas, blowing him away. And everything goes white, and Lucas is free. In the cold embrace of God, who would have thought a black man dying in a prison could be more than just a stereotype? It could actually be peaceful. But as Lucas hits the ground and opens his eyes, he stands up, seeing where the bullets hit his body. There's only welts there, only mere bruises. And as the SWAT team and Dr. Bernstein stare, shocked and simply, Lucas takes off as if a bullet can't stop him, nothing can, breaking out of Seagate as if it was nothing. swimming against the current that no mere man could withstand. And once Lucas is on land, he rips a tree straight out of the ground at its roots with his newfound sheer strength. And laughing, Lucas can waste all the time he needs as his stamina never seems to run out, always one step ahead of the pursuit. But as Lucas runs from the police, an alligator pops out of the marsh, but with Lucas's newfound strength, he easily opens the beast's mouth like there isn't 4,000 pounds of pressure and teeth closing around him. But when you're a boy from the hood and you're starving, you do what you gotta do to survive. And nearly a month later, Lucas finally made it back to Harlem, but he's just disgusted at what he sees. Prostitution, crime, drugs. It's a new time. A dark time for Harlem ever since organized crime died out. Thugs and gangbangers run rampant, doing whatever and whoever they want. But Lucas didn't come back here for them. He came back for Willis. Willis Stryker, his old buddy, his brother, his rival, the one who's responsible for Reva's death. So Lucas gets back with his old gang, making some money before his revenge, running a bank robbery. And with his new skills, this won't be hard, except this isn't a simple GTA 5 heist, where the three ebony men just roll up to the bank, with Lucas's buddies on crowd control as Lucas literally rips the vault door off its hinges. And all he sees inside the vault is $100, $50, and $20 bills. So he fills two massive hockey bags with cash. And walking out of the vault, there's a security guard pointing his gun at Lucas and his accomplices, telling them to surrender. And Lucas definitely doesn't want a one day from retirement case on his hands, so Lucas gets in the old man's face. When he just sees the fear in the old man's eyes, he's just doing his job. And even though Harlem's at its worst point ever, Lucas isn't this. Lucas isn't a hard criminal. So he just drops the bag of cash, telling his cohorts to stand down. But they shoot the old man in the center of the stomach, clearly severing his spinal cord. Unfortunately for him, he won't be walking again. So in a furious rage, Lucas smashes one of the men in the jaw with the force of a steel beam on a crane, picking up the other guy, throwing him across the bank, smacking him into the vault, and running for his life, ashamed at what he's done. Lucas was a part of something, thinking about that old man. And after that, Lucas was completely lost. All thoughts of vengeance left his mind. And then fate just hit Lucas, or more, he just clotheslined fate right in the face. Seeing he can make money from being a hero just as much as a villain, as the guy he clotheslined just robbed a convenience store and the owner just walked over, giving Lucas a huge reward for stopping him. And so Lucas looks over, seeing a news magazine with Spider-Man, Thor, and even Captain America. But Lucas is going to do his own thing, becoming a hero for hire. And unlike mercenaries, Lucas has a moral code and even rebrands himself with a new name to always remember the hellhole he came from. Donning himself with a new costume, Luke Cage is born, ready to fight for Harlem. Finding a cheap rundown building to set up his hero for hire business in, and setting down to read the Daily Bugle's wanted section, when the Rhino comes by crashing into an armored car just outside Luke's building, making him spill his coffee. So, probably because of the coffee, Luke decides to intervene, and this is also good enough as time as any to advertise his hero for hire business. So as Luke steps out of the building, he demands a cup of coffee from the Rhino. But the Rhino can't get over what Luke is wearing, a tiara in that outfit? Come on, man. But Luke can't believe the level of shit he's getting from this dude dressed as a furry right now. But the Rhino doesn't have time for all these insults. He gets enough of this shit from Spider-Man. Don't worry, guys, we'll get to him soon enough. So the Rhino charges Luke, and a real quick physics lessons for all you people out there in YouTube land? When an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, we call that the irresistible force paradox, or the shield and spear paradox. So if Luke were just to stand there and take the Rhino's charge head on, he would be able to stop the Rhino's forward momentum, and they would be in a deadlock to say. But if Luke sucker punches the endangered species right in the fucking face, the Rhino goes down like a pussycat. And that was the perfect time for Luke Cage to become mainstream, saving so many lives in front of all those people. But Luke Cage didn't stop there. He kept taking down whoever, whenever, as long as the money was right. But one man always stayed out of Luke's reach. Willis Stryker. But now it's time to get his attention. And guys, I really hate breaking context. Already done it twice this episode. But when we cut to Willis Stryker and some guy watching a security cam with Luke Cage and a bunch of people standing around him, the only thing I can really say for context is go watch the Luke Cage Netflix teaser trailer real quick. and then come back because like he just like goes into a building and kicks the shit out of a bunch of people, and it's fucking awesome. So go watch that, come back, and then we'll continue this story, because I think that like that little picture right there, the security camera, is like the 30 seconds in between what happens to him getting to Stryker. Alright, so just go watch that. But as Stryker comes outside with one guard and two big ass Rottweilers, Luke pulls out a wad of cash, just simply throwing it into a fire. And Stryker knows this is the fool who's been messing with his operation. And as soon as Luke calls out Willis Harold Stryker, he realizes this is Lucas, his boy from way back in the day. Except he doesn't recognize him in that monkey-ass outfit. But that's because Carl Lucas died in Seagate Prison, and Luke Cage emerged. But Stryker still can't get past what Lucas is wearing, let alone his whole backstory. So Stryker welcomes Lucas home to Harlem, throwing two daggers at him, and Lucas laughs as he thinks his homeboy's tripping. But two sonic emitters emit from the daggers, knocking Lucas to the ground. He may be invincible on the outside, but he's still mortal on the inside. And within a couple of minutes, Luke awakes to Stryker standing over him with two more knives in his hand, explaining right away he may be the black equivalent to the Hulk, but those sonic scramblers could still fry his brain. But Luke was just caught off guard, and now he's really gonna hate what Stryker has in store for him. Adamantium chains, one tied to each bumper and then to each of one of Luke's limbs. But Lucas can still see Stryker's a little bitch, using other people to do his dirty work for him, not getting his own revenge. But Stryker laughs, revenge at what? And Luke screams, Reva! So Stryker drops down explaining she was just a little piece of tail, and was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Sitting on Luke's chest, Stryker explains that Luke is just bad for business, that's all. Stryker's business. But Luke doesn't understand, they always did some fucked up shit, but not this, not poisoning their own people. But Stryker puts a knife real close to Luke's eye, asking if that's indestructible too. But Luke doesn't understand this, they both change, but they'd never hurt their own people. But Stryker's a businessman, and he can't have a hero for hire in his business messing everything up. And then the cars start going, each one pulling at Luke's limbs. You're right, Stryker. I lost my way. I lost my humanity, who I was, and I forgot something really important, something I never expected to happen. I was reborn and given a second chance. Pulling each one of his limbs into his body, all the cars come into each other, smashing in a fiery rage and explosion. As everyone runs for their lives, Luke emerges through the fire and flames, chains on his body still. But Stryker runs for the rooftop. He was always faster than Lucas. But Luke is in no hurry. He knows he's gonna find Stryker tonight. On the rooftop, ranting and raving, Stryker says he showed Reva what a real man was. She just couldn't handle it, throwing a dagger at Luke, but it just shatters on his pec. No, Stryker, you turned a nice girl into a woman who feared life and men. And then you killed her. Your actions led to her death. You're a walking stereotype. A gangster. Please, you're a joke making the rest of us brothers look bad. But Stryker just laughs knowing that Luke isn't gonna kill him, pulling out another dagger. And he's right, Luke won't kill him. But hell, he'll just break every bone in Stryker's body, turning him to dust and then handing him over to the police. But as Stryker steps back, preparing to throw his dagger, he steps on the glass panel behind him, falling through down to the warehouse below. And Stryker's dagger lands on the ground, blowing up the rooftop, flinging Luke back. And in the coming weeks, as the rain keeps falling, Luke returns to Reva's grave, feeling empty. His revenge was done, and he still felt empty. No one to love, his life is long gone. And years later, Luke is walking down a lot less crime-filled Harlem. Things aren't perfect, but he's done a lot of work to keep the hood clean. But don't get me wrong, Luke still has his demons. His past will never truly be gone. But Stryker's words still echo through his mind. He isn't a hero, hell, he'll never be. And then that just makes Luke think about what he spent all that money on he got over the years from his hero-for-hire business. Pulling out an envelope so full of cash it won't even close, putting it through a door's mail slot. And for years, Luke's been giving it back to these people, more and more than he's ever needed. When someone Luke never imagined to see again, especially hear the words coming out of his mouth, the security guard from so many years ago, calling Luke his hero. And glad for so many years to finally meet Luke, but Luke doesn't understand. Because of him, this man was crippled, but the old man knows Luke didn't pull the trigger. The old man knows those last moments, Luke had a change of heart. He made a mistake, he was young, but that doesn't change how many lives he's changed since then. So he's forgiven. So the two men go for a walk, and the old man explains that even Captain America messes up once in a while. But Luke just looks at the old man knowing that was a very bad example. But the old man just explains Captain America is still a very good symbol, and he's a symbol for the USA. And well, Luke Cage is a symbol for everyone in Harlem, but more importantly, a symbol for African Americans. In a world filled with racism, our kids need to see you standing up to everyone, standing up to adversity, standing with the Avengers, standing with the Fantastic Four, no matter what comes your way. But Luke just admits no matter what he does, sometimes people get hurt in the process, and especially the old man, about everything that happened to him. It just keeps Luke up at night. But the old man tells Luke to stop complaining and move on with his goddamn life. He did so many years ago. But Luke just doesn't understand, and the old man just tells him to take a good look around him. 90% of the money Luke has given to the old man has gone back into the community, growing it stronger and stronger. God, what does an old man need with $2 million in his lifetime for anyway? So the old man takes Luke on a long walk, showing him he's touched so many lives, seeing gardens of people growing flowers and food, playgrounds with children laughing and playing, and then finally taking Luke to the Heroes for Hire high school. And as the old man and Luke part ways, he reminds Luke no matter what he's done in the past, all the good he's done now has definitely outweighed any of the bad. Thank you guys for watching the Avengers Origins Luke Cage video. For my first real video, I think I actually did a pretty decent job on it, so make sure to like, favorite, subscribe if you feel that way about it. And I'd just like to thank the NewTuber subreddit for all the kind words and suggestions they've given me for this channel. But keeping this short, all music used in this video will be linked in the description below. And if you want to read some free comics, go to readfreecomicsonline.to. Check out some books, but always remember to support the writers. Buy a goddamn book once in a while. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. See ya!